everyone! Welcome back to the Purple Belt Diaries, where we mostly focus on grappling sports and sometimes on my life in them. Today we're exploring how different martial arts can complement and enhance each other. Specifically, we'll be focusing on Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and Judo, as those are the main martial arts that I participate and have the most experience in. After competing in both, I've seen firsthand how these two sports can really beautifully integrate to create a well-rounded skill set. Also in this video, we'll take a closer look at the potential synergies between Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and Judo with other martial arts like Muay Thai, boxing, and wrestling. So let's get started. What are BJJ, or Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and Judo? Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is a grappling-based martial art that focuses on ground control and submissions. It has origins from Japanese Jiu Jitsu and Judo and was further developed in Brazil. The goal is to gain a dominant position and force your opponent to submit using joint locks and chokeholds. On the other hand, Judo, which means the gentle way, emphasizes throws and takedowns. It was founded in Japan by Kano in the late 19th century. Judo practitioners aim to throw their opponents to the ground where they can apply pins, joint locks, or chokes. One of the key similarities between Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and Judo is the strong grappling foundation. Judo's emphasis on throws and takedowns also perfectly complements BJJ's focus on the ground control and submissions. Skills from one art can seamlessly blend to the other with some modifications. For example, a well-executed judo throw can set you up for a dominant position on the ground in jiu-jitsu, while judo practitioners can benefit from the emphasis on the groundwork techniques from jiu-jitsu, especially the greater variety of allowable submissions such as locks involving the legs and feet. Even judo hold downs can be beneficial to the jiu-jitsu practitioner, while the creativity allowed in jiu-jitsu adds to the judo ground game overall. Let's take a look at some of these and break down the cross-training advantages individually and how these combat sports actually fit with each other. Right now, everyone who has not trained judo, take a moment to visualize a judo takedown in your head. Just a moment. Now tell me, what was the takedown? Was it a hip throw? One of the main contentions that I hear from jiu-jitsu practitioners about the use of judo takedowns is that they would give up their backs. This is a valid concern during many hip throws and why you see a judoka drop into a tight turtle after failing a takedown that requires them to turn their backs. But these types of throws are not the only takedowns learned in judo training. Ashiwaza, foot and leg techniques, are essential and incorporate sweeps, hooks, trips, and entanglements with the legs and feet. No back turn is required. Drilling these techniques with the precision that judo demands can be extremely beneficial for getting the tricky timing of a foot sweep down. And speaking of precision, the hold downs in judo are excellent for pressure application and opponent control. The frequency of takedown usage in my own division in competitions is actually really low. Female light feathers in jiu-jitsu tend to drop to guard, and it can sometimes become a race to the ground because that's where everyone is comfortable. Even I drop to guard in competition sometimes, most times. The few times that the other woman stayed standing with me, I was actually genuinely shocked and usually hit a foot sweep if I couldn't drop into guard. But for pressure and control in my top game, judo has helped me so much. This is where my training partners, coaches, opponents compliment me on is my pressure on the top. And this is where judo has really come into play for me, specifically in my own game. Because judo allows for wins by pin, the hold downs are incredibly precise in positioning and in pressure application. And there are multiple side control variations and transitions between them that can add a lot to your jiu-jitsu game. I'm going to post the links to my recent Pans videos just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. One of them is the first half of my division finals match and the other is a compilation. I haven't posted the full videos because I don't want to get copyrighted by YouTube and wind up in like flow grappling jail, where you're probably forced to watch like blue belt no-gi matches with IBJJF rules or something, or like maybe that's just the fifth circle of hell I'm thinking of. So Jiu-Jitsu has many other benefits to offer judo, particularly in newaza. It allows for a staggering amount of creativity in its practitioners' ground games, and the heavy focus in Jiu-Jitsu on ground fighting itself can augment the Jiu-Jitsu newaza / ground game and provide for an experimental outlet for judoka to really explore different options that can be beneficial in judo. The focus on the ground also means that typical judoka stalling you might see in an opponent actually becomes dangerous to the opponent. The turtle, which often happens after a failed throw in judo, is something that jiu-jitsu players actively train to break through and tend to be very successful at. On the judo belly down is death in jiu-jitsu. By using jiu-jitsu to augment judo newaza, you can finally stop getting wrecked trying to choke people from their guard. There's always more we can add to this, but I want to move on to discuss other martial arts as well. We'll discuss wrestling first because it has the most similarities, and then move on to striking, focusing more on Muay Thai and boxing. However, I am not intending to imply that other striking or grappling martial arts are not as beneficial. I'm just going with what I'm most familiar with. So please feel free to chime in the comments on other martial arts that might complement jiu-jitsu or judo or even each other. Just because I'm not familiar with something doesn't mean it's not great martial arts. So what about wrestling? Wrestling shares many similarities with jiu-jitsu in their groundwork, and you can work pins in judo. So why train wrestling? My answer to that is that you have legs, and so does your opponent. Wrestling takedowns can complement judo throws, and that it covers attacks and defense of the bottom part of your body that modern judo would like to pretend is not there. Not to mention the benefits of the sprawl and explosiveness of wrestling. In jiu-jitsu, it can also provide a solid hold down positioning and pressure. Overall, wrestling can augment and fill in the gaps to make for a more well-rounded takedown and ground game. Now let's talk about striking sports. Like I said, Muay Thai and boxing are what I'm more familiar with, but we'll just talk about striking in general. Incorporating stand-up striking skills can significantly enhance your overall martial arts proficiency. It really rounds things out well, allowing you to be a more versatile fighter. From a self-defense standpoint, having grappling and striking in your repertoire will set you up to be better able to defend yourself in more potential situations. It would also be kind of a mistake to underestimate the Muay Thai clinch, which can really add to your BJJ clinch control and takedowns. Overall, cross-training in multiple martial arts can offer a more holistic approach than just sticking to one your entire martial arts journey. It helps you to adapt to different situations, making you a more versatile fighter, and there's things that you can take and apply from each to each other. BJJ and Judo, potentially along with other combat sports, complement each other incredibly well, creating a more comprehensive grappling system. Exploring cross-training opportunities in other martial arts like Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling, and other striking sports can further enhance your skills and round them out. Remember, the key is to find a balance that suits you and your individual goals and preferences. Not everyone is going to like all martial arts, and that's okay. Sometimes you can barely find time to train one, let alone multiple, and that's fine too. If you only want to do one, just do one. Your journey is your own. So what about you? What is the main martial art that you train, and do you do any cross-training? What have you found to be the most beneficial aspects of your cross-training? And have you found any downsides to it? Drop a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok, or support my coffee habit on Patreon at the Purple Belt Diaries. I also just wanted to give a big shout out and thank you to my first Patreon supporter, James. And to everyone, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe check out some of my other content. Also, if you're looking for some new gear, please check out some of the affiliate links below and use code DesLussier at checkout for 10% off discounts site-wide. All right, thanks and see you next time.